Should taxpayers be alarmed that the SARS can dip directly into the bank account and take what it thinks it's owed?
Well, some taxpayers will not be alarmed because this has already happened and they've had the fright of their lives and are currently dealing with it. Other taxpayers, yes, if you owe money to SARS, be careful because SARS can dip into your bank account and get that money.
Now here we are talking about tax offenders or tax evaders, so people who, when they've completed the tax return, when they're told that they owed money, don't pay it over. So it's not going to happen to everybody, is it?
Well, let's put it this way. It's not necessarily tax evaders or offenders. It's effectively any person who owes SARS money. It could even be a person who has lodged an objection to an assessment and SARS is still busy considering it. So effectively, let us say, for example, SARS made a mistake and added an extra zero to your remuneration and therefore believe that you owe them more taxes. Even this person is affected because technically until such time as the payment is made to SARS, you still owe them money. And it's regarded as a debt against the state, and SARS will not stop the collection process just because a matter is under objection.
What sort of legal standing do customers have then if SARS does dip into their bank account and take money that we don't believe is owed to SARS?
Okay, well, the first step, I guess, is to see whether there was communication in place between SARS and yourself. If it's the first time that you found out about it, I think then at that stage, bearing in mind the money would have already left your bank account by then, is to enter into discussions with SARS and confirm what address they sent the details through to. The problem is that there are no clear guidelines that are available to the public as to when SARS will exercise this method, which to me would be a method of last resort. Whether there are internal processes that are in place or internal guidelines within SARS which is in place is another question, because I'm not totally convinced that such measures actually do exist. So the first step would effectively be proper communication between the taxpayers and SARS as to when SARS would use this as a resort.
Do you think that SARS needs to come out with clearer guidelines on when it is going to use this?
Definitely. Definitely. Taxpayers out there need reassurance that it is not just immediately that SARS will dip into their bank account. After all, we all have expenditure. We have rent to pay, bonds to pay, etc.
Debit orders.
Debit orders which could likely bounce if SARS dips in and takes all the money. So we don't want to have surprises. And effectively, yes, we do need guidelines.
How about banks? What's their role in this? Are they obliged to give SARS access to bank accounts?
SARS appoints the bank as an agent and they are technically obliged to comply with what SARS says. So yes, they have to do it, but the next question is what is the bank's obligation to its customers? Because it is a customer relationship that we're looking at here, a customer service provider relationship. And at the very least, the bank should phone the individual, the customer, to inform them that, look, we will be doing this just as a heads up.
And of course, it's not just banks. SARS can also go through employers and actually take money from source, can't they?
Yes, they can, because this is the method that has been used more commonly in the past, until SARS found out about the bank angle, which is more readily available cash. What they can do is go to the bank, to the employer and say, here's a garnish order. We want you to withhold, say, 5,000 Rand from this individual and pay it over to us. And the employer has to comply.
What happened in the past when taxpayers were overcharged by SARS? Did they have to pay and then claim it back later? How did it work?
Okay. In instances where SARS has made a mistake, effectively they have to pay. Now, it's to me unfair because the matter is still under question and sometimes there are huge sums of money involved. So, for example, if SARS adds 3 digits to the end of my income, I would go, whoa, there's not enough money in my bank account to even pay that off for a couple of years probably. But effectively, yeah, that is when there was money that needed to be paid over to SARS, it had to be paid over whether it was rightfully due or not. And SARS would continue coming after you and phoning you, etc., to get this money paid.
Do you envisage any legal battles from this, or do you think we can get it sorted?
I hope we can get it sorted because, as you know, legal battles take a lot of money. It takes a lot of time, and one taxpayer won't be able to fight this on their own. It would effectively need to be a whole lot of people, or some sort of ombudsman that needs to be created to address this issue with revenue. I hope, however, that they would consider making the guidelines available to the public in order to provide more reassurance that it won't happen just immediately when you owe money to SARS on assessment.